All right, folks. We are here at my cool flower garden. And I'm just going to take you on a little walk up and down the aisles and kind of tell you what this is all about. So if you're not familiar with cool flowers, that's the name of my book that's all about hardy annuals, which is what you're going to see here in this garden. They're cool season, meaning they don't just like cool weather, they thrive in it. Everything you're looking at was planted here in my Zone 7B garden last fall as transplants. The book tells you which flowers are hardy to what zone, meaning if you live in Zone 6 or Zone 8 or Zone 5, there are things that you plant in the fall. The book just really takes your hand, takes you by the hand and guides you. So I am just going to kind of take you for a little walk. First off, this is garlic actually that's here at the front. And we of course love garlic, but we grow, this is elephant garlic, and we grow it because it gets these enormous purple allium-like blooms. They're the biggest, most beautiful flower we have ever grown. I mean, it's the most, when it blooms, everything else in the garden just kind of like falls down a notch because these things are like so amazing. So this is not a hardy annual, is why I'm pointing this out. So over there, I'm not walking over there because I don't want to crunch the leaves and make a lot of noise. In that black film, which by the way is not plastic, that's a biodegradable film called Bio 360. You can find it on our website, thegardenersworkshop.com. It's made out of corn meal, or a corn byproduct basically. And anyway, those are Lysianthus that were planted around Valentine's Day, and they will be blooming in approximately June to July. And Lysianthus is an amazing flower. It is a cool season hardy annual, as well as the stock that's in the next bed that's actually netted over there. Those two beds were actually not planted in fall. They were planted 6 to 8 weeks before my last frost, which for us would have been around Valentine's Day. So here we're walking down. This is Yarrow Colorado Sunset. It will reseed and kind of perennialize in a garden, but we replant it every year in a new spot because we lose some of the great colors that we actually plant it for. It has a really beautiful peachy color and pale yellow, and those colors don't tend to reseed or come back. So we redo them every year. This is Ami Magus. People think it's Queen Anne's lace, but it's actually a look-alike, but a much better garden flower. And as you can see, we grow a lot of this. Is a very popular cut flower, and it's great for pollinators and beneficial insects. So we're coming, this is kind of a mixed bed. There's some Sweet William, which you'll see a much more mature crop in just a minute. These are Snapdragons, which are just coming along, and actually they've actually been harvested pretty hard already. This is Monarda limbata, and this is a bee balm, and it's kind of got a green, silver, pinky kind of bloom. It's a little different than most of the others, and we love it. It's in everything is in the book here, I believe, so I'll point out things that aren't included with cool flowers. This is the beginning of some of our Rudbeckias. We grow a lot of black-eyed Susans. There's many different types to choose from, and they all have a little bit different flower head. We love them for cut flowers. They're awesome for native bees and beneficial insects. And then just a little look over there, the bed that's netted. That also is Ami Magus, which is the look-alike you just saw for Queen Anne's lace, but that was planted in mid-February. Unlike that more mature blooming that you saw in fall. Same exact flower, just two different blooming times. So we're walking on. So this is sorry about that. This is a different Rudbeckia. This is Prairie Sun. The one back there is Goldilocks. And so this is Status. And this was actually another one that was planted here in early spring, meaning for us mid-February. And you're going to see the fall planted ones here in a minute that are already blooming. So these will start blooming just a little bit later. So this is kind of another mixed bed. These are one group of snaps that we grow. And we grow a lot of different Snapdragons. And the real reason is because they typically have a little different blooming time. And you'll see several different types. And snaps are a great pollinator. Bumblebees love them. They're super cut flower. We just really adore them. So this is Sweet William. And look at this stuff. I mean, it is so beautiful. The blooms, the buds haven't started to come out yet, but I will tell you that this is such a super bouquet filler that when we were in high production and used to grow beds and beds and beds of this stuff, we would actually cut it at this stage to use this as a foliage filler. It is just such a great, sturdy garden flower. We just really love it. And this is Amazon, and you can find all of these seeds on our website, thegardenersworkshop.com. This is one of my favorite snaps, and you're going to soon learn I love every flower. I call them all my favorites. This is Madam Butterfly, and if you'll notice, she doesn't have a chin. There's a little double ruffle. I have a better example down here of her. You can just see that's just a little ruffly. It's really, really beautiful. And these snaps are almost about thigh high on me. The abundance of stems per plant and the stem length when you fall plant Snapdragons is unprecedented by any spring planted snap. It's really, and carefree. So here is the status. You know, we just saw those little baby plants down there. This is the same plants, just planted in fall. So they are already up and blooming and looking really, really beautiful. So here we've come to, this is calendula. And I actually do not grow calendula as a commercial cut anymore. They just don't have a long enough vase life. In the home garden, they're wonderful. This is one of the first flowers to bloom on our farm. It is a pollinator buffet. And it comes in, this is Pacific Beauties, and it has yellow. And these beautiful, the colors just won't come through. This is peach, actually. It's hard to see, but look at all these guys. They're just amazing. And the native bees, and it's just really a great, beautiful garden flower. It is edible. A lot of people grow it for that. So that is just a really, really nice, cool flower to grow. Here's another new one. This is, and look if you can see those balls right there. These are called in the floral trade Billy balls. It's golden drumstick. And it's not in cool flowers. This is another one that we have just been working on the last few years. And in fact, it is winter hardy in zone 7. And I will tell you though, why we have a mix here. Those were fall planted. These were planted in early spring because the deer ate them to the ground. Those back here. So deer do tend to like these, but these are, I mean, this one is waist high on me. I mean, Billy balls, oh my goodness. I mean, to have a round flower is pretty phenomenal to use in bouquets. Here is yet another example of the difference between fall and spring planting. This is the same Rudbeckia you saw earlier, both of them. The Goldilocks and Prairie Sun, these were just fall planted, and you can just see how much further along. These will bloom by Mother's Day for sure, which is always a big deal for us. So this whole hedge you're getting ready to look at here, this is Scabiosus. We grow the Fire King, the Blue Cockadee, and Black Knight. And I think it's called the pincushion flower because it gets much larger than that, but this gets these amazing, they do look like a little pincushion. And we start cutting them at a little bit bigger than this because we have so much of it to make the most use out of them. And I do want to go on, I want to mention here that normally all of this garden that you would be looking at right now would be flower support netted as you saw over there. Unfortunately, because of the COVID-19 virus, you know, help has, some people are doing things that other people do. Not everybody's here is what I'm getting at. So the job didn't get done. This bed is very vulnerable to downpours. It'll just lay these stems right down. You can see the snaps ahead that are kind of leaning into the pathway. If floral support netting had been installed, none of this would be a problem. It's a little troublesome for me. So all of this is scabiosis. And then we're coming to another gorgeous one. This is false Queen Anne's lace. This is a daucus, which is a carrot, but this is not white like the classic Queen Anne's lace. She's a little pink, and then look at this. There's just such a variety. Look how big that thing is. This is false Queen Anne's lace. Just beautiful. Just beautiful. And feverfew, which is just a really super important crop, especially if you're doing wedding work or bouquets or in your garden even. So there's some Sweet William that's just starting to bloom. So we grow it in that pink, cherry, and purple. So here we are at the snap bed. And just gonna walk along. So these are like, I think there's 4 or 5 different varieties in this bed, and you can see that these are just haven't even really got started. And then we're coming to we just trialed this variety this year, and it really has the same colors as some of the others that I grow, but guess what? It's earlier. That's why we grow different varieties. And so they're really beautiful. This is my favorite color, yellow. It's kind of a bright yellow. It's not that soft color. So that was the end of that. That was the trials. So these are the ones that we've grown for many, many years. It's Rocket. It's an old heirloom. And these suckers are tall and incredibly productive. Let's look at this one. Let's see if I can see. Which is, sorry y'all, you're not seeing something. So I'm trying to see, there's probably 8 or 9 stems on this. This is one plant. That's a result of fall planting. When plants have a good time to get established, they are so abundant, and guess what else? Pest and disease resistant like nobody's tomorrow. These snaps will bloom so much longer into spring, into summer, because they resist the disease problems and pests because they're so well established, right? So here we're coming up to a group of snaps that are almost done. These are chantillies, and here, I'll show you on the other side. These are pretty picked over. They look pretty sad, don't they? I'm sorry, y'all. The poppies were already cut. Let's find, here we go. This is a chantilly snap. See how that's completely open? It doesn't have the chin. That's a great color too, by the way. So chantillies are the earliest. Then we grow opus. And then these start the rockets. They're just really, really beautiful. So I'm gonna jump over here, y'all. I got a little off my track. So let's see. So I'm actually remaking this video for you guys. And I didn't know I was going to be doing this, or I wouldn't have cut all those poppies there. Those were ones that were too old, and the rest of them were inside in buckets. But these are our Iceland poppies. Again, fall planted, super productive. I mean, you can see just on this one plant, let me get down here and show you from the side, all the stems. And I have been cutting a handful of these guys every single day. Here's another comparison. This is billy balls. Those big yellow balls we just saw over there. These were just planted in February versus look at those plants over there. There's just no question, guys, that it's just really amazing. This is Nigella, which the first blooms are just coming along. And my book, Cool Flowers, about this whole garden full of flowers. Tells you everything from how to start, which way you should start it. From seed, do you plant it in the garden? Do you start a transplant? This is Orlea, better known as white lace flower. Looks like Queen Anne's lace, but look how much bigger the petals are. It's a whole different family. This is a beautiful little flower, an amazing beneficial insect and pollinator flower too, I might add. So we love this stuff. I mean, I just really, really love these. So we grow a lot of other types of poppies. This is the bread seed poppy. And they're just starting to, this is the first year growing them. They're just starting to head up. So we're going to see how that trial kind of goes. And here are, we have a dead plant there, for who knows why. Our bachelor buttons. This is the stage. See if I can get that to focus a little better. This is the stage we cut them in, or like this. And they quickly open indoors. Look at those guys. When they open indoors, their color is much more vibrant. They don't get faded from the sun or dehydrated by the wind. And they open fairly quickly. And they're just really beautiful. This is a big crop. I mean, we have florists, and that just, who doesn't love a blue flower, right? I mean, good gracious, look at that thing. And this time of the year, we're so desperate for flowers, and it's just one of the very earliest flowers to bloom. That's a perfect cut. I would cut anything I can see the color on. These things are so productive. I'd cut all of them. I mean, it's just so beautiful in a mix, a little bunch on your table, to have all those different stages and just to watch them open. Dill is a cool flower. We grow it for bouquet flowers, which there's no flowers here yet. Some years we lose it if we have a really cold winter. The one year, a couple years ago, when we really went down to single digits for over a week, we did lose it over winter, but we always plant it because it's worth taking the risk for, right? And this is the first larkspur. Larkspur is called the Southerner's Delphinium because it's a lot easier for us to grow, and it does reseed in your garden. So this, my friends, might look like an insignificant flower, but this is the flower arranger's bouquet maker's dream. This is Bupleurum. This is the very first bloom I've seen yet, actually. Don't know why my camera doesn't want to focus. So Bupleurum is just an amazing filler flower. It's really beautiful. It's really easy to grow when you plant it in the fall. So these are just, I mean, about another 3 weeks and they'll be really ready to go. I don't know why my camera keeps going out of focus, y'all. Sorry about that. And I know that you're seeing all this black landscape cloth. This whole garden method was an experiment this year. Normally, all of our pathways would be in leaves, and we are trying something a little different this year, and I will tell you, it does the job. It prevents weeds. But look at this. I mean, what happens, I strip tons of debris off of stems as we're harvesting, and this stuff has to literally be swept. I love sweeping my house. I'm not sweeping my garden. So we'll be back to leaves, not to mention the photography of it. I don't know if you remember what those leaves look like over there with the other beds, but it's so much more natural. So we're still in Bupleurum, and now we're coming to who is usually the star of the show, Bells of Ireland. And these guys are just starting to shoot up. They'll be all up through this netting. And this is the flower support netting that I mentioned that every cutting garden should have. It's not really so much the wind, but it is the torrential downpours that just really wreaks havoc on these guys. Over in the bed next to us over there, those are the giant poppy pod poppies. And we do offer the seed of these. They're on our website. The pods are as big as my fist, just about. And the flowers are gorgeous, but they only last about a day. We don't cut them. We let them develop pods, and the pods are beautiful in arrangements. We don't dry them. We use them fresh, and those pods are full of seeds. So once you get yours and save a few of the pods and let them dry in the garden, you'll have all the seeds that you need. So gang, this is the Cool Flower Garden, and what I want to say is, you know, I did not make this way of planting up. Our grandmas used to do this. My book, Cool Flowers, is really just rekindling what our grandmas did. They knew that they should plant larkspur and sweet peas and such when it's still cold outside, or even in the fall, if to have them winter over. And this is the abundance. And you know, we really planted this garden with the Historic Garden Week tour in mind, and I feel pretty certain that when Garden Week was started decades and decades ago, that these are the flowers that those ladies were growing to have their own flowers to use in the beautiful arrangements that the Garden Week homes are just so well known for. I feel certain that these were a really big part of it. But these flowers just kind of fell out of retail fashion, meaning because of their awkward planting time, the retailers just stopped offering them because people aren't in the garden centers and the nurseries in fall or very early spring looking for these guys, right? I mean, who's in there in September and October and then in February, typically? I mean, we might buy some pansies, but that's about the extent of it. So there's a book study that goes along with the book to really help you. I understand how scary it is planting plants outside or seeds when winter's kind of coming on, but I've been practicing this for over 20 years, and we have gone through single-digit winters. The book has a cheat sheet in the back that tells you about what flowers are hardy to wear, and there are flower farmers all over the world doing this. And we've learned that some of the flowers are even more winter hardy than we thought they were. So I just encourage you to check it out. And to get the book study with the videos to help you wrap around your head, to wrap around what's going on. And so that is the Cool Flower Garden.